Today's post is the third section of Bernard of Cluny's hymn on the heavenly Jerusalem. And we've been saying that the heavenly Jerusalem is not merely a consolation for a Christian when we come to die. It's a destination. And the closer we get, the greater our hopes should rise of the fulfillment of God's promise to us that we will be with Christ where he is. And that's supposed to be a hope that we nourish and feed throughout our journey under the sun, longing for it to be fulfilled. We've been saying that one of the sad marks about a lot of the Western Christianity in the 21st century is the loss of the psalms and hymns and worship, which is part of what Adullamscavemusic project is about. But something else that is much less part of Christians' lives and thought today is a wonderful book by John Bunyan called The Pilgrim's Progress. This is a copy that I really cherish because it was given to me by a very, very dear friend who is now in the celestial city. And as you probably know, John Bunyan wrote this book actually under the cross himself. He was imprisoned, separated from his congregation that he pastored and from his family. And it's the story of the hero called Christian who left the city of destruction for the celestial city. And on his journey, he and his companion Faithful came to Vanity Fair, and that was where Faithful was martyred. Vanity Fair represented everything that people under the sun consider essential for happiness. And there was a young man called Hopeful in the city who saw Faithful being martyred. And up until that time, Hopeful thrived off what Vanity Fair had to offer for happiness. I have another lovely book here. It's by Alexander White, again, someone who's not read very much these days, but it's on Bunyan's characters. He's a brilliant book on Bible characters. And this was from a series of sermons he preached on each of the characters in Pilgrim's Progress. He was a Church of Scotland minister at the end of the 19th century. Excellent writer. And he has a great chapter on Hopeful. Hopeful, when he saw Faithful martyred, was converted from the pursuit of happiness in Vanity Fair to join Christian on his journey to the celestial city. And of course, Hopeful represents the place of hope as our companion in our journey towards the heavenly Jerusalem, as distinct from placing our hopes in this world. Hopeful would play a critical part in Christian's journey at a number of points. And the last point in which he's mentioned, I find incredibly moving. Christian and Hopeful were crossing the river of death towards the celestial city, the last phase of their journey. And as they were going across the river, Christian's faith began to give way and fear started to overwhelm him. And Bunyan says, Hopeful held his head above the water and encouraged him with God's promises until Christian's faith revived and they reached the shore. For John Bunyan, the hope of glory is something that sustains the Christian, not just when we die, as it did in that part of the story, but for our whole journey. Our hope is based on the mercy and grace of God to sinners and is guaranteed to those who give their allegiance to the King of that city. And it's a hope that should be preached about, sung about, and meditated on throughout our lives. It's probably a sign that we've lowered our hopes to the level of other people under the sun and to their expectations if we aren't meditating on this great eternal glory, the great hope of being in the heavenly Jerusalem. And when the Lord sends the cross into our lives to frustrate our earthly hopes, as he does, we're in danger of not recognizing that it's his way of restoring our hopes in eternal glory, raising our hopes up again to the heavenly Jerusalem where they should be all the time. And that's one of the reasons why John Calvin says that crosses are more necessary to the Christian than food or drink, because without them we're in danger of placing all our hopes and usually all our prayers then on God doing things for us in this world and forgetting about that supreme hope that he's given us of the life to come. Jerusalem the golden, with milk and honey blessed, beneath your contemplation, sing heart and voice so pressed. I know not, oh, I know not, what joys await us there, what radiancy of glory, what bliss beyond compare, what bliss beyond compare. They stand those halls of Zion, all jubilant with song, and bright with countless angels, and all the martyr throng. The Prince is ever with them, the daylight is sublime, the pastures of the blessed with glorious colors shine, with glorious colors shine. There is the throne of David, and there from care released, the song of them that triumph, the shout of them that feast, and they who with their leader have conquered in the fight, forever and forever are clothed in